My boyfriend's religious parents think I'm evil, now he's been kicked out. Hi everyone. I'm writing this mostly to vent, but if anyone has advice, I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't think there's much I can do at this point, but I'm open to hearing your thoughts. Apologies for any grammatical errors, as English is not my first language, and I don't live in the United States. Here's the situation. I, 24F, have been with my boyfriend, 21M, for about 1 year and 8 months. In this relatively short time, a lot has happened, mostly involving his family, particularly his parents. Initially, the issues started small. My boyfriend occasionally received long texts from his mom, my MIL, complaining about how he was distancing himself from the family and neglecting house chores. For context, at the time, he lived alone with his 16-year-old sister, while I lived with my parents. His parents lived in another city due to work, leaving my boyfriend responsible for taking care of his younger sister, a situation that always bothered him. He felt it was unnecessary, as his parents had the means to care for her in their city. Over time, the texts became more frequent and aggressive. We noticed a pattern. They only happened when he spent weekends with me or whenever we met. His mom often tried to guilt him, claiming he was being lazy at home and that his sister needed him, even though she didn't. We kept in touch with her through messages and knew she was doing fine, even when he was with me. At first, I thought, oh, classic MIL doesn't like the girlfriend. Nothing new. I expected some resistance since I have tattoos, work in the arts, and his family is very traditional and religious. However, his parents were never directly rude to me or my family when we met, which was rare. They were polite, but I always felt a coldness from them. Still, I tried to maintain a good relationship, never refused an invitation, was always cordial, and offered to help whenever possible. Then things escalated. The texts turned into long phone calls, and eventually, I was banned from visiting his house. Even his younger sister, 12, who lives with his parents, sent a voice message calling me crazy, saying I was manipulating him and that I would cheat on him. It was clear she was parroting their mother's words. At this point, the situation became insane, baseless accusations, heavy insults, and total disrespect. My boyfriend was hurt and often lost sleep over it, as none of it made sense. I always did my best to comfort him and encouraged him to try talking to his parents because I didn't want to drive a wedge between them. Things worsened when we discovered my MIL was spreading lies about me. She claimed I forced him to quit his internship, not true, and she knew it, said I kept him locked at home, and even badmouthed my family. That's when I decided to distance myself entirely, and my boyfriend supported that decision. It was confusing because we never gave his parents a reason to dislike me or my family. Despite all this, my boyfriend always defended me and tried to find ways to resolve things. Outside of this family drama, we were very happy together. In fact, this situation brought us closer. But this year, things hit a new low. His parents kicked him out of the house after a series of ugly fights. His dad said he didn't want to meet our future children and didn't need an invitation to our wedding. His mom declared, "I have a son who's dead to me." We never expected this level of hostility, especially without a clear reason for their anger. When this happened, my parents took him in. They adore him and are heartbroken over this senseless conflict. Thankfully, we have their support, as we're both university students and can't fully support ourselves yet. My parents have been a beacon of light during this time. About 5 months after he was kicked out, my boyfriend arranged a conversation with his parents as a final attempt at reconciliation. Unfortunately, it went worse than we imagined. They showed no remorse and insisted that our premarital relationship was unacceptable and that he'd be miserable with me. Most of the conversation was along those lines, and he came back devastated. Since then, I've done my best to make him feel loved, along with my family. He's a kind, hardworking, and studious person who treats me wonderfully. It's heartbreaking to see how his parents have treated him. I know nothing can replace parental love, but we're doing our best to be his safe space. He's been improving over time and seems happier, but sometimes, I see him lost in thought, and I can feel his sadness and anger over being abandoned by his family without reason. As I mentioned, this is just a summary. It's impossible to fit everything into one post. I wanted to share this story to gain fresh perspectives or support because I sometimes feel guilty, even though I know this isn't my fault. If you have any advice, especially about how I can comfort him during tough moments or how to handle this during the holiday season, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for reading, and I hope you all have a wonderful end of the year.